Hey everyone, it's been a really long time since I've done a live stream. So for today's video, as you can see, I'm going to be finishing up this Conan the Barbarian drawing that I did on yesterday. I'll be coloring this that I did on the sketch cover. So I'm just pulling out some of my supplies. I have a mixture of Ohuhu markers and Copic markers, and then I have some Micron pens as well for the inking, which will be the last step that I do. Then I also have some Prismacolor pencils that I will be using to add more detail. And then I also have a white gel pen. So right now I'm just pulling out some flesh colors, and then pulling out all the colors that I'll be using, like smoke and fire for the background. I'll pull out some oranges, some grays, and then get the colors for Conan's costume. So yeah. I think I got the colors that I wanted out so far, so I'm just going to stick with what I have for now. So I'm just going to pull up my reference photo that I have of Conan. And then always before I start coloring, I just normally test out some of the colors I'm going to be using on a sheet of paper, just to make sure those are the colors I'm going for. So that's what I'm about to do. And so for those who don't know me outside of YouTube, I am an artist as well, and I normally sell my artwork at comic conventions. And what I specialize in is actually acrylic paintings. And so doing sketch covers is something that I started in the midst of the pandemic around 2020. I started to dabble in markers and colored pencils as well as my main medium. At times, I prefer acrylic paintings over markers and colored pencils, just because I feel like for me as an artist, I'm able to get more detail in that way. But I prefer markers and colored pencils when it comes to time, because this is 10 times quicker than doing a painting. A normal painting would take several hours, possibly 10 hours for one painting. Alfonso 128 MX says very nice. King Joe says nice. ML Mo says, wow, he came out great. Thank you. So yeah. Last time I did a live stream, I did a drawing of Darth Maul, but that live stream actually got deleted. It was a really nice drawing though. But yeah, last time I went live, my channel was completely different. I wasn't really doing video reactions, so I have a whole new audience now at this point. So I don't even know if you guys know that I'm an artist, but you will probably know if you follow my Instagram page, so yeah. So right now I'm just laying down some of the base colors on Conan. Just this flesh color for his chest. I actually don't have a tripod with me right now, so you can kind of see it. I have like a selfie stick up here that I taped to the wall, so that's pretty funny. So yeah. And then after this pass, I'm just gonna go in again with another layer of the flesh tone to add more detail. And so before I came out here to work on this drawing, I was working on tomorrow's reaction video, which is Predator, which I ended up loving that movie, but I'll save that for tomorrow's reaction. I'm having a great time editing that video. And yeah, I've really enjoyed this month's reaction. Watching the whole Rocky series was incredible because I only intended on watching just Rocky 1. But then Rocky 1 was so good, I had to go and see the second one. And so you guys encouraged me to keep going, but I think 4 is like where I'm gonna stop. Because so many people in the comments were saying that 5 is just, it's not a vibe. So I moved on to other movies, like as you saw, Rambo. I may watch the sequel to Rambo, Rambo First Blood Part 2. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, tomorrow's video is Predator. Cromer 1000 said, if you don't mind me asking, what made you decide on Conan? Are you a fan of the character or just the art? So Conan, if I'm going to be honest, I really don't know much about Conan, but I do collect a lot of sketch covers, and I know a lot of the people that follow me love Conan, so I bought this sketch cover almost like a year ago, and it's just been sitting in my supplies. So I thought I would go ahead and pull this out so I could do a live stream and then also draw something, because I haven't posted on my Instagram page since December. And yeah, I just have like sketch covers on hand. As you can see, I have the Star Wars. I have a ton of Star Wars sketch covers. Plus, I'm always taking commissions, so it's just helpful to have a variety of different covers. Someone else said, wait, this is a reaction to Conan the Barbarian? No, Rick Haggins. This is not a reaction. I'm just drawing Conan. Cromer 1000 said you don't need to go past 4. I agree, but the reactionist in me kind of wants to watch Rocky number 5 on the channel. I don't know yet. I keep going back and forth. Malcolm Farmer says, can't wait to see the Predator prop. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 4 is enough. Cromer 1000 said, none of the Rambos are anything close to the first one. Much more just action movies. Okay. So yeah. And then also, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know what's coming out the week of April 15th. And if you know what's coming out, then that'll give you a hint as to what my reaction videos will be for that week. So yeah, that's a little surprise as to what's coming up next on the channel. Toronto Sid said, beautiful you and can draw and paint, plus you know the classic movies. Yeah. Thank you. So if I don't finish this on the live stream tonight, I'll definitely have this uploaded on my Instagram page either on Friday or Monday, depending on what the rest of my schedule is like, because I'm still in school. Angelo said you should watch both Rocky 5 and Rocky 6 before watching any of the Creeds. D. Watkins said, how old are you? I'm 21. I'm 21 years old. Currently a senior in college. Toronto Sid said, you gotta review Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is definitely coming up. I'm just trying to find a good week for it, because I normally plan out my reaction videos like a month in advance, so I already know what I'm gonna film. So I could maximize my time to the best of my ability. So yeah. So I'm almost finished coloring Conan's body. And also, if you hear any doors closing or people, that's because I'm like in the hallway at my dorm. Just because I knew my roommate was gonna be coming from class, and I didn't want to be like doing a live stream when she comes in the dorm. By Quam, Free Key Lowy has a fire emoji. ML Mo says, would you ever consider doing a series like specifically Young Justice? Like, if I keep bugging you about it every post. So ML Joe, In the past, like when I first started doing reaction videos, it was just TV shows, and that's what started to grow my channel. But after a year of reacting to TV shows, I find that not many people are really interested in shows. So for now, I'm not doing any TV show reactions because at times it can be too taxing. Because I know when the Disney Plus TV shows were dropping, I was waking up at 3 a.m. editing that video and having it up by 9. And I just didn't see the yield from the work that I put in that I wanted to. So I just don't do TV reactions as of now. Maybe in the future. Angelo says, by the way, you're very beautiful. Thank you. Colonel 1000 says, I agree with Angelo. If you plan on watching Creed, I'm not the biggest Creed fan. Didn't even watch the second one. Free Low Key says, Young Justice is back. So yeah. I think for the most part, Conan's body is almost done. Also, if you don't know, I also have my own comic book that I created. I wrote and drew it and colored it as well. It's called Luminous Sage. If you go to my Instagram page at California Blend, you can find out more about it. Currently, I'm working on the second issue right now, which is just amazing. And I can't wait to release it, hopefully in the upcoming weeks. I really worked hard on the story and trying to perfect it compared to the first one. So yeah. King Joe says, have you seen Alien versus Predator? No. In October, I watched the Alien/Aliens movies, and I'm just now watching Predator, so maybe after all this, I can go back and watch Alien versus Predator to understand why they need to go against each other. Yeah. James says, this is a good reminder for you to do reaction to the Conan the Barbarian. True, Arnold's version. D. Watkins says, you gotta watch the Hunger Games series next. Actually, when Hunger Games came out, that was like my thing, my favorite movie. So I've already seen the entire Hunger Games movies. Those are great. Love that story. Love Katniss. MLMO says, that post is very inspirational. All the personal effort you put into it, drawing, writing, etc. Congrats. Thank you so much. Toronto Sid said, 50 Cent said, 50 fear no man swings swords like Conan. D. Watkins says, don't forget the Twilight series too. So true. I actually, okay, so when Twilight came out, I was like one of those people who was like, ugh, Twilight, so I avoided it. Plus, I was super young. I believe it came out in 2008, so I was like 8 years old. I really didn't care. But I'm just looking for the right time to watch it on the channel, possibly in November, since that is when the movie was first released. I like to do reactions sometimes around the hype of, not the hype, but the essence of a movie, if that makes sense. Like, since Twilight came out in November, it just feels like a November reaction video that I should make. And then Chroma 1000 said, I agree, James, you should do the Conan movie. Maybe I could do that in the possible future. Yeah. Leo Williams said, miss you. I miss you too. That's my brother. D. Watkins said, you were 8 when Twilight came out. I feel so old. Yeah. So as I'm talking to you guys, I am really trying to focus on shading. That's something I have to work on, especially because I'm not looking at a reference or anything. I'm just trying to think about where would the shadows be naturally, and have it be consistent throughout the drawing. So that's what I'm trying to focus on right now. You know, I've been working on his skin for quite some time. So I'm gonna try and move on to another part of this outfit. Oh, Charlie says you should do Top Gun before the new one drops. I got a plan for that. You can expect Top Gun, my video reaction for that, to drop 4th of July. Hopefully that falls on a Monday or a Friday. If not, I'll be doing the Top Gun reaction the week of the 4th of July. And hopefully I'll have some type of costume for that. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. Just want to say hello to everybody new in the chat. I am currently finishing up this drawing that I did of Conan the Barbarian. As you can see, I've just laid down, actually I'm trying to get it in the camera. I've laid down some of the flesh tones already. I did this drawing yesterday and trying to finish it up. Leo said, getting in some Morbius time tonight. Yeah, I am planning on going to go see Morbius sometime this weekend. I really hope this movie is good. I think Morbius is a great character. I'm a Spider-Man fan, and so I think to see more villains that aren't as known on the big screen is a great thing. It just depends on what Sony does with the character. That's always the tricky part. And then I was also hearing rumors that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was supposed to make an appearance. I don't know. But I'm still excited to see it. I think this will be a great role for Jared Leto. After his time as Joker in the Suicide Squad, I really didn't have a problem with his Joker, but it wasn't a fan favorite. So I'm excited to see him back in the superhero realm, for sure. So now I'm gonna move on to a different part of Conan here. Just testing out the colors once again. I think I'm gonna move on to his, I don't even know what you would call it, but fur area, I guess. D. Watkins said, oh, Cromer 1000 said, oh, one last recommendation. You should react to the movie Troy. I'm sure you never get movie recommendations, right? Okay, I'll stop now. Oh, Cromer 1000, no problem. Yeah, Troy is actually on my list. You wouldn't believe, like every time someone says like, oh, you should react to this movie or that movie, I keep like this long list of movies and then I pick them out and then I like plan them out for the month or even sometimes the year as to what movie reactions I'm gonna do. So they're always planned, and some of them are subject to change, but Troy is definitely on the list. I just have to find the right time to do that reaction. This is actually a little too dark, so I'm gonna switch to a lighter brown because I like to build up my colors instead of just doing one layer. Oh yeah, D. Watkins said, Conan the Barbarian comics are so much gory and violent. Yours is much more softer version. True. I tried to add a little bit of grit. As you can see, like from his axe, he's like blood dropping. And then he kind of has like a skull on a stick. So there's a little bit of gore. Toronto says that X-Men is the toughest comic book series if you ask me. Now, Toronto Sid, are you talking about the current X-Men series as comics or the old X-Men series? Oh, Leo Williams said loincloth. That's right. FLB Photography said, hey, don't forget Moon Knight. Oh, so true. You know, if I was actually reacting to the Disney Plus TV shows right now, I would have reacted to Moon Knight I did think about it, but that would require me to wake up at 3 a.m. before class, and I'm not gonna do that because when the Disney Plus reactions were first coming out, they dropped on Friday, and I didn't have school on Friday, so it was perfect. Waking up at 3 a.m. was no big deal. But then Disney moved it to Wednesdays, but I have class on Wednesdays, so that's another reason why I don't do TV show reactions anymore. So yes, I am actually excited to watch Moon Knight. I think it's going to be one of Marvel's best TV shows. My favorite so far was like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Those two are a tie for me. Then there's Loki, and then the Hawkeye TV show. I mean, if you know me, if you watch my Hawkeye reactions, you know I wasn't really feeling Hawkeye. I really don't like him as a character. So yeah. But I am excited to watch Moon Knight, the TV show. The Swedish Science and Violence says, hey, what's up? That's a dope Conan drawing. Thank you. We got the Simply Incredible podcast. Hello. So good to hear from you. Toronto Sid's an old school. Then definitely, yes. Especially John Burns' X-Men. Charlie says, have you seen True Lies? No, I have not. Malcolm said, just want to throw up the Dead Zone movie with Christopher Walken and Martin Sheen. You'd like it? Okay, gotta go. Good night. Callie, my favorite actor, who can draw, and so much more. Thanks for coming in, Malcolm. FLB said, facts. And then FLB said, I miss your reactions. Moon Knight is the best MCU first episode ever. Yeah, maybe at one point I will return to doing TV show reactions, possibly over the summer. Maybe when the She-Hulk TV show drops, or the Ironheart series, or the Skrulls with Nick Fury. It's still up in the air. Simply Incredible podcast says, I loved WandaVision. Yes, me too. I thought it was fantastic and so unique to television. Just the way they shot it and how every episode was just like a different decade. I thought that was so cool. So yeah. Cromer 1000 said, Frank Franzetta for some great Conan artwork. Yeah, John Buscema and Ernie Chan for great Conan artwork. Yep. So I've always been a fan of comic books. Well, actually, no. I've always been a fan of superheroes through film first, with the first Iron Man in 2008. So seeing the MCU unfold before my eyes is what I grew up with. And then it wasn't until 2019 where I felt like I needed to know more about the history of different superheroes. So I started to get into collecting comic books in 2019. And then over the pandemic, I just went crazy. I was trying to find writers, comic artists that I love their work, and then also storylines that I wanted to dive deeper into. And when I got into this whole comic book phase, I did not want to read indie books whatsoever. Like, I just wanted to read anything from Marvel or DC, characters that I knew, and I wasn't having it. And so it's really funny because by the end of 2020, like, my perception of indie comic books changed completely. And now I prefer indie comics over the two big publishers, which is like so cool. Image probably being my favorite. And then I read a book, it was either in 2020 or 2021, called Scout's Honor. I think that was one of my favorite books because I just thought the storyline was so shocking. Like, when I read the book, I actually gasped after the first issue, and so it became one of my favorites. But my current favorite titles at Marvel right now, as far as comics, is Strange Academy, Thor, and then the new Moon Knight series that they dropped. It is so good. Like, those are their three strongest titles right now that I need to get caught up on. but I'm loving those books. And so I'm almost finished. Since I'm filming this off of my camera, you can't really see all of the detail and the texture, but when I upload it on Instagram, you'll be able to see more of that. So that's what I'm working on right now. Von Dreddy said you're very talented. Thank you. And then FLB Photography said, but yeah, that's a dope drawing though. I still gotta copy your comics though. Yes, so my comic book, Luminous Sage, issue number 1, should be in stock once the second issue releases. And I know it's been a minute since I've given any updates on the second issue of Luminous Sage, issue number 2. But trust me, I am working so hard on this issue, just revising a lot of the pages. And then also, since this is my senior year of college and my last 10 weeks of school, I'm just working on my senior thesis right now, which is just my final film project, and it's like the biggest project that I've done here at school, and it requires a lot of time and thought and planning. And actually, it's almost done, at least the first part, because we're planning on shooting next weekend. And so after that, my comic should be released much faster since I'll have more time. But yeah, just been trying to maximize my time. ML said, it's crazy to me how shading brings the picture to life. That is so true. Simply Incredible Podcast says, will you be setting up at any Comic-Cons? So I'm so glad that you asked that question, because yes, that is the plan. For those of you who don't know, I've been selling at comic conventions since I was 14. But since I was in school, I was only able to do summer conventions or one convention a year. So I mainly sold at conventions in Florida, because that's actually where I'm from. For those who don't know, like, a lot of people think I'm from California. I've never been to California. I live in Florida, but right now I'm at school in Atlanta. And so the plan after I graduate is to finally sell at comic conventions outside of Florida and go all across the United States. So yes, I have a ton of shows lined up for 2022. It's going to be the California Blend Tour, and I'm so excited because I'm going to shows, I'm going to be selling at shows that I've always wanted to for like the last 5 years, and I finally get to do that. But some of the out-of-state cons, I'm not sure as to what I will be selling just yet. I will be selling my comic. Back when I was selling before my comic, it was just my acrylic paintings. And so now that I have my acrylic paintings, my sketch covers, CGC slabs, and now my own comic book, it's like, what do I sell at these comic conventions? So I'm trying to go based off of the market that each convention is, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm going to be selling at Florida SuperCon, it's going to be more teenagers versus adults. So I just may sell my comic book due to their price range. So yeah, to answer your question, I will be selling at several comic conventions. The list of cons that I will be selling at will be finalized more so towards the summer, because for certain conventions you have to apply in order to sell, and you have to be approved in order to sell. And that's what I'm waiting on to announce which shows I'll be selling at. And to get caught up with the chat, Simply Incredible says, congrats on your senior year, almost over. Thank you so much. Simply Incredible Podcast says, Heroes Con in Charlotte in June. Good to know. I can tell you the first comic convention that I'll hopefully be selling at will be in July, if they accept my application, and then it'll be conventions for the rest of the year. Puff Comics 83 says, stopping by for a quick hi, working right now, so I'll catch the replay. Looks great, Gabby. Thank you so much, Sean, for checking in. Yeah. So I'm gonna start working on Conan's boots since I've talked. I've talked for a while now, but yeah. Hopefully over the summer, I could start doing more live streams. And, you know, once this whole season of my life blows over, I'll be posting more on my Instagram page, because I used to post my paintings on my Instagram page a lot, but to be honest, I haven't painted in like over a year, which is so weird for me because I used to paint just about every single day. And so to not create any art is a little weird because I've been focusing my time in other areas, like putting more time into my own comic. So that's what I've been up to. Tiffany Brooks said, "You are so talented. Thank you." So yeah, finishing up his boots. And so this is fun. Since I haven't like drawn in this way in a long time, it's nice. And I've actually been doing more digital work over the past few months rather than traditional while working on my own comic. Like after Luminous Sage issue #1 dropped, I was contacted by 2 other people to illustrate their children's book. So I've been working on that as well, which has been a really cool opportunity to tap in something that I didn't really know that was there because I didn't learn how to be a digital artist. It's just something that that just came along the journey, and then people wanted me to help them out with their books. So that was cool. Neil said, "Love your channel." Charlie said, "About to head out, Gabby. I'll be checking for your book when it drops again. Stay blessed." Thank you. Yes, hopefully it will be dropping or restocking in the next few weeks. I'm really trying to work on that. FLB says, "Yo, this makes me want to pick up the pencils again." Definitely. So yeah, working on Conan's boots. As I said before, I just like to build up in layers rather than just dropping one color down at a time, just so it has a greater effect. A little bit of this foot got lost in the coloring. I'll try to fix that up when I'm doing the line work. Glenn said, "So how do we get / purchase your art or comic?" You can go to my website at californiablendsart.com. I just put it in the chat. That's where I have all of my artwork, my comic book, sketch covers, paintings, and CGC slabs available on my website. And if you guys have any more questions, you can just put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you weren't here earlier, I said tomorrow's video is going to be Predator, so you can be on the lookout for that video. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. So I'm excited for you guys to see my reaction. I'm trying to see a picture, get a reference photo of his. I don't know if this is gold or silver. I'll just move on to his hair for now. Right now I'm just working on his hair. In the meantime, building up those layers as I've been doing before. We got Two Gun Pedro says, hello Gabby, like your live drawing streams. Thank you. Haven't done one in forever, and I was like, why not come on and do a live stream? So yeah. So that's his hair. Do another close-up view because my camera is just not picking up the detail. This is what it's looking like so far. I'm gonna go in with the deeper gray. Mary Money 100 says, fantastic, love your work. Let me know when it's done. Thank you. Mark says, thanks for being so kind and real. Oh, thank you, that's greatly appreciated. Neil says, I look forward to seeing more videos. You're so very talented and have great energy. I enjoy your channel very much. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I love reading everybody's comments when I post a new video. It's so funny. And every time like I have a question, you guys always give me this great history behind a scene or the film. And it's very helpful. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more gray to his hair. There you go. Kind of like the way that that's turned out. Looks like his hair is flowing in the wind. What part am I gonna move on to now? I think I'm gonna move on to his axe. Gonna whip out a lighter gray. Neil says, in that case, did you know that Arnold played Conan the Barbarian? Yes, I did know that. So maybe I'll watch that on the channel at some point. Actually, I think this part is gray. So I'm almost finished. Just adding in some of the details on his armor. And then I gotta figure out what colors to use for his neck piece and then his little gauntlets. Glenn said you should be reviewing the first Conan movie while drawing Conan. Mind blown. Yeah, that would probably be kind of distracting in a way, but it would be fun to do. So yeah, now that I see that I'm definitely almost finished, should be posting this tomorrow on my Instagram page. It'll be available for purchase on my website as well. Yeah. And then I'm gonna move on to coloring the rest of his axe. As you can see, the pictures coming together. Gonna give you another close-up look as we're moving along. Tracy said, when will you release the next Luminous Sage? I do not have a definite release date. Always when I start a new issue, I always have a release date and then it never gets released on the release date. So as of right now, I'm just going with the flow. Trying to make time to work on it so that it can be released sooner rather than later. What I can tell you is that half of the pages have been inked and drawn. I just have about 12 more pages to draw and then color, and then I'll be finished, and then you guys can get Luminous Sage issue number 2. But as of right now, I'm halfway completed. I really believe the I don't know what to call them, medallions on his, I don't even know. The medallions here, I think they're gold. I really do. But I've seen different iterations where it's silver. I mean, I guess it kind of doesn't matter. think I'm gonna do it gold. Because you can see his gauntlets here in the comic are gold. So I'm gonna go with gold. Gonna get some final details on his gauntlets. Trying to build up some color that adds some depth. Yeah. And anytime I go silent, because I'm trying to focus, because normally when I'm drawing on my own, I'm listening to music, and so sometimes it's a little bit harder to think and draw at the same time, or talk, answer questions, and draw. So I'm just trying to focus. Here's another close-up look at it so far. Probably when I finish the live stream, I'll go back in and add more detail, and that's when I'll go in and ink it as well. Do some of the line art to make it stand out even more. And then I'll go in and add highlights as well. So now, Andre said, what you be listening to when you're drawing. So I really like EDM music, which is basically just electronic dance music, something that's super upbeat and fast, majority of the time. But yeah, just some of my favorite songs on my playlist. Something that makes me feel energetic while drawing or motivates me. Thinking about what color I could make this sword here that'll make it stand out other than brown. This should work. Just make the whole thing one color. And then also with this sketch cover, I want to do something a little bit different. With most of my art, I mainly like to do headshots because I like drawing faces. So I want to work on my male anatomy as well as try something different and draw a character I've never drawn before. So I had a fun time drawing Conan and looking up different versions of how people have drawn him or painted him. So that's been pretty cool. Thinking about what colors to use. So on the screen, his sword kind of blends in with his undergarment, well, over his garment. But that'll be more clear as we do the line work, as well as add in the values. They'll look separated. Then I'll go in. Oh, Malcolm said that's awesome. I never knew. Stop already. You had me at hello. Good night again. Good night. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of red to the axe to show like he's been in battle. Then there's some blood dripping from his hands because Conan's been fighting. Yeah. So I think this is where I'm gonna stop the live stream. So I can go in and finish this quickly. You can see the final product posted on my Instagram page tomorrow at California Blend, probably around 5 o'clock. But this is what we have so far without any of the line work or highlights. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this live stream. I haven't done a live stream in forever. And so to all my new subscribers, this is what you can see from the future of my channel, as well as more reaction videos. I want to thank everybody for stopping by in the live stream. See you guys in the next one.